Now my ship is already earthed to the sea, right? Why do I need an extra shaft earthing device? And what shaft earthing I'm talking about? Which shaft I'm going to earth here? Which is shaft that we have to earth? It is our propeller shaft. Okay, the propeller shaft has to be earthed. Now, why do I need to earth propeller shaft if my ship is already, the question is ship is already earthed to the sea. Okay,
Electrostatic current.
then why do I require shaft earthing device? Yes, can somebody tell me?
Sir, due to continuous motion, the
Mhm.
propeller get induced electrostatic current, and it may discharge with the shaft, which can affect to the engine body or crankshaft
See,
maybe.
when your ship is running, okay, when your propeller shaft is rotating, that means your crankshaft is rotating. Is it touching any metal to metal surface? So this is your suppose bearing, okay, and when your propeller is rotating after a certain RPM has been achieved, hydrodynamic lubrication has happened. So during that time, is there any metal to metal contact between the shaft and your bearing or anywhere?
No, sir.
So that means the shaft is insulated, right? Because oil will act as insulator.
Yes, sir.
You agree? Okay. So when my shaft is running, when my engine is running, that means my shaft is rotating. It has already lifted up from the bearing part. Now, shaft is completely isolated from any metal to metal contact,
Yes,
isn't
sir.
it? And whatever the charges that will be developed now on the shaft, I need to ground them. Don't you think?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when ship is sailing, the propeller shaft does not doesn't have any metal to metal contact. Okay, as it is separated by a thick layer of lubricant. Okay, now my shaft is completely insulated. Now whatever charges that will be developing on my shaft, okay, whatever charges that are developing on my shaft, I have to ground them somehow. That's why I need an additional shaft earthing device, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so first of all, the why will the charges will develop?
Sir, electrostatic charge develop when two surface is continuously rubbed to each other, and I mean they reciprocate with each other. Due to rubbing action, the electrostatic charge get developed.
What is rubbing what?
I mean, when two surfaces are in contact with each other and continuously reciprocate with each other, or
Is shaft is in contact with my hull? Does the shaft is contact with the hull?
no, sir, with the seawater.
Okay. So there you cannot say rubbing with each other, right? what you have to say is, when dissimilar metals, okay, when they are not similar metals. So your hull is made of a different metal, your propeller shaft is made up of a different metal, isn't it? When dissimilar materials rotate or vibrate at certain speed, then these static charges are formed on the surface of. Now here we are talking about our propeller shaft and the hull. So propeller shaft and hull are of different material. So when they will, when the ship is running, so they will rotate. Okay, propeller shaft is rotating, your hull is also vibrating, and it is also running, right? So the static charge will be formed on the surface of both hull and propeller. Okay. Now hull and propeller both are of different material and both are in motion. Okay, so charges are going to form on both of these material. Okay, now these charges are going to travel across your, like, hull may, if your it is getting, it is not a problem for us, but on the shaft, what all charges that are being developed, what if it is not grounded, what is going to happen? If I do not ground this, if I don't have this shaft earthing device on board my ship, first of all, where it is, has anyone seen it?
Yeah, it is on the, it is connected to the shaft, and sorry, it is connected to the shaft which is coming from the engine, and in
Yes, it
between
is
the
connected to
intermediate
your
bearing and
propeller
the,
shaft. It is connected to
yes,
your
yes.
propeller shaft between your intermediate bearing and your stern tube bearing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The location of it. Sometimes they also ask what is the location of your shaft opening device. So it is, far from your engine. Okay. And as close as possible to the stern side. Okay. Near to your what do you say, stern tube bearing. Okay. Near to the stern tube, on the bottom platform, obviously, right? So if somebody asks you about where's the location, you can give it. So what is the purpose of the shaft opening device? What if the charges that are being developed on a propeller shaft, if I do not ground them, what is going to happen? Bolo? What
Uh,
is going to happen?
So those charges will be traveling throughout the shaft and go and settle in the main bearing.
Why?
So
It has.
because, yes, sir.
Bolo? Bolo.
Because it will not stuck in intermediate bearing, nor it will stuck anywhere else. It will directly go to the main bearing, and it will to get earth. It will jump from there because the clearance
Why it will
between
go to main bearing?
that is the last part, no?
So what? You have stern tube bearing, you have intermediate bearings.
The
Why it is going to
clearance
the
is
main
much
bearing?
more as
Yes, the
compared to the bearing that
clearance
is in.
value is much smaller as compared to all these three bearings other, and that is why the oil will offer lesser resistance than the other, right? Agreed. If the clearance is the out of these three bearings, your stern tube bearing, your intermediate bearing, and the main bearing has the least amount of clearance. So if the least amount of clearance is there, that means oil thickness will be less. Agreed. The oil thickness will also
Yes,
be
sir.
less, so it will offer less resistance to the current flow. Okay. Now the question is, oil act as an insulator, isn't it? Oil act as an insulator. So why the charges are jumping? So for, what is the purpose of shaft?
Depend.
Hold on. Let me write this one. What is the purpose of shaft earthing? So it is used to ground static charge produced in the propeller because if we do not ground it, then bolo, why it is jumping through your oil if the oil is an insulator?
Sir, due to very high potential, it may jump from the nearest body, metallic body.
High potential. How much potential it is? What do you think?
सर सर एक्सक्यूज मी सर,
हाँ बोलो.
कल एग्जाम है सर। थोड़ा सा केएलएम वैल्यू बता देंगे सर?
ओके, ये खत्म करके बताते हैं.
ठीक है सर।
हाँ. So tell me, it is used to ground the static charges, right? But why does it jumping over your oil if oil is acting as an insulator? Is the potential difference so high?
No, sir, it is in millivolts.
Yes, it is in millivolts. That means it's very less.
Yes, sir.
So the concept that comes here is oil acts as an insulator. Oil has a property of dielectric strength. Have you heard of the name dielectric strength? If we do not ground it, then
Yes, what, sir?
the charges will exceed dielectric strength of oil. And if it increases the dielectric strength of the oil, only then the charge will jump and cause pitting of main bearing. Why main bearing? Because clearance value is less in main bearing. Hence, it will offer less resistance. ये turbocharger lecture has been uploaded in the app or not?
अपलोडेड है सर,
Okay.
अपलोडेड है सर।
Take. Now, what is dielectric strength? Then, if you use the name here, dielectric strength, he will ask you what is dielectric strength of the oil. Anyone?
प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ पासिंग द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी थ्रू इट।
It is also known as breakdown voltage. Okay? Dielectric strength sometimes is also known as breakdown voltage. It is a measure or the ability of the oil to resist the current flow. Okay? It will try to resist the flow of the current. That's why it is acting as an insulator, isn't it? Okay. So, but it will not always act as an insulator. There is a threshold limit. Okay. There is a voltage that is known as breakdown voltage. It is the voltage at which the oil will fail to insulate and allow the electrical charges to flow through. And then only your electrical charges are going to jump and it will cause the pitting on the main bearing. Main bearing will have pitting. And this is known as spark erosion. Okay. So in your bearing topics, when they ask you about bearing defects, so one of the bearing defects they ask you is about spark erosion. Then you have to explain him all these funda, how the spark erosion is happening. This thing you have to tell him. Is it clear? In the bearing section, it will come. One of the defects of bearing is spark erosion. Sometimes they directly ask the question, what is spark erosion? Then you have to say all these things. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So whatever charges that are being developed on the shaft, I need to ground them. Okay. That is why I need to ground them, because otherwise it will cause fitting of main bearing, or known as spark corrosion. It only happens to your main bearing. Okay. Doesn't happen to your big end bearing, doesn't happen to your, what do you say, this crosshead bearing, only for the main bearing part. Okay. And that is why we need this additional equipment, which is known as shaft earthing device, which is going to discharge all these charges back to the hull of the ship and then to the sea. Okay. So, do I need to write dielectric strength, or you understood? What is it? Bolo.
No,
Okay. Now, how could I discharge these charges to the hull? How could I do it? If I give a less resistance path to the flow of the current, I can discharge the current from there. Agreed? Current will always follow the least resistance path. You agree?
yes, sir.
Okay. So if this is my shaft, so where is the location? Where is the location of it?
In between intermediate bearing and starting bearing.
Yeah, as far as possible from the main engine, and closer to the aft section of the ship, right? Between your intermediate bearing and your stern tube bearing. Now, whenever I have to take any electrical power from a rotating component, this is my shaft, it is rotating, right? The charges are being developed here. Okay. Propeller is rotating outside and the charges are being developed. It will travel through across your length of the shaft, and then it is going to accumulate near the main bearings. And when it will exceed the dielectric strength of the oil, then it is going to jump and cause pitting or spark erosion. Okay. Now, you know, uh, in order to save my main bearings from this spark erosion, I have to give this shaft earthing device. Now, this shaft earthing device, whenever I have to take the charges or take the current from any rotating component, I have to provide slip ring and brushes. Okay. इलेक्ट्रिकल में पढ़ा होगा आपने ये सब, slip ring and brushes. So now these two brushes, number 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we have total 3 numbers. Sometimes you can also have 2 numbers, one here and one on the bottom. Okay, but mostly we have 3. Okay, this is brush number 1. This is brush number 2 and brush number 3. Now this brush number 1 and 2 are shorted together and it is grounded to the hull. Why I'm giving 2 over here? It is for redundancy purpose. Okay, if one is getting isolated or insulated somehow, then at least I have another brush. Okay, that's why for redundancy purpose only 2 brushes are given on top and they are shorted together and then grounded to the hull of the ship. A third brush, which is connected on the bottom face of your shaft, this is connected through a millivoltmeter. Okay, and then it is also grounded to the hull. So the third brush is given for monitoring purpose, isn't it? It is given for the monitoring purpose. Okay, like how much current is being or how much charge is being developed on my shaft, that you can see from millivoltmeter. Agreed? It is also there in your bottommost platform. You will see near your stern tube, near to your stern tube, there is a voltmeter, millivoltmeter connected, and it will be giving you some amount of current. Okay, it will be measuring some amount of current and it will be showing you. Is it clear?
Yes,
So
sir.
what I have done, I have given a least resistance path for these charges to flow. Suppose here is my engine, okay? Here is my engine and this shaft is connected here. So now if the current is being discharged from here to the hull, will the charges go to my main engine? And will the spark erosion or pitting erosion is going to happen on my main bearings? The funda is clear? How I'm going to discharge these charges?
Yes, sir.
These brushes are stationary, okay? These are not rotating. Only the shaft is rotating. It is stationary brushes, but they are in contact with your what do you say, the shaft, okay? Slightly they are in contact with the shaft. So whatever charges are being developed, these charges will be grounded by the help of these brushes, okay? The charges will be flowing like this, and it no charge will be going towards your main bearing. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
The normal value that you will get in this millivolt meter, you will get around less than 50 millivolt, okay? And
Sir, how is
normally the, yes,
sir, how
bolo.
are the brushes stationary and also connected to the shaft?
इसका casing रहता है and it is spring tensioned, okay? There's a casing for it, okay, which is connected to the hull of the ship, and there is springs to adjust the tension of it. आपके यहाँ पे ना, that construction is not required for you, so I'm not taking that thing, ठीक है? There are
Okay.
springs over here. So sometimes क्या होता है ना, when see, if your friction pads also wear out, isn't it? They are also in contact, right? Purifier friction pads, agreed? Wear
Yes,
out
sir.
होते हैं, okay? So
Hmm.
these also will in due time, okay, slowly they are also going to starts to wear out, okay, as your shaft is rotating, and that is why these springs are given to adjust the tension of it. You can, by the spring, you are going to again tighten it along with your shaft, but it is not too much tightened also, otherwise it will break, okay? So it is tightened, and it should be like it partially touching this shaft just to release the uh, charges from it, okay? There's a casing around it, okay, and then it is connected to the hull of the ship, okay? So the charges will be
Okay.
going to your hull of the ship, okay? So normal value is less than 50 millivolt. Alarm value, which is normally set on board the ship, is greater than 80 millivolt, okay? Is it clear? This question
Yes, sir.
was today class 4 में तो नहीं, class 2 में जरूर पूछा था ये question आज, ठीक है? Both of these questions, your shaft earthing and your MGPS in your class 2 MP motor examination, it was asked today. Class 4 में भी पूछते हैं ये लोग, ठीक है? Now, what all cross questions he can ask you here? Now, suppose your millivolt meter is showing you the value 0. What does it mean? Hold on, I'll drink some water and come.
कलोरल है भाई किसी का?
Yes. So if the millivolt is showing you 0 value, what does it mean? Diagram देखो ना. the one that I've
सर
drawn.
एक बार वो केएलएम वैल्यू बता दीजिए सर।
Okay, just give me 5 minutes after that. ठीक है?
ओके सर, मैं लिखा हूँ सर, बस आप ये बता देना कि सही है कि नहीं, मैं जब बोलूंगा सर।
ठीक है, आप मेरे को फोटो भी भेज दोगे चैट में, ठीक है? I'll see. ठीक है? What you've
ओके सर।
written, ठीक है? And then we will see. Just give me 5 minutes. It is almost complete this topic. Huh? Now
ओके सर। ओके
from
सर।
this diagram, tell me if my millivoltmeter is showing zero value. What could be the reason?
So the brush is not connected to the shaft, or there is
Good.
some
Next.
foreign material in between the shaft.
Excellent. Anything else?
The wire is broken.
Good. Anything
The
else?
brush is worn out.
Brush तो हो गया ना? So if suppose the brush is worn out, I told you there are springs over here by which you can
Yes, sir.
adjust the tension. I told you that when the shaft is rotating, the brushes will wear out also with time. So there might be possibility that the brushes had worn out and your electrical officer or any duty engineer has not observed the value of this millivoltmeter. Always you should, when you taking rounds, you should check. This is your duty also to check how much millivoltmeter reading is there on bottom platform. Otherwise main bearing तुम करोगे या बाकी सब आएगा करने को? हमें ही करना पड़ेगा ना main bearing, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the problem could be the brushes has worn out. Okay, so what will be the logical thing to do if the brushes are worn out? You have to adjust the spring tension of it. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Follow? Okay, some foreign particle or maybe what do you say, a little bit oil film has come over here. Then oil will act as insulator, right? So then also possibility that my millivoltmeter will show me zero value. Then what you have to do? You have to open this brush, you have to clean it. Some foreign particle also might have come. That means dust or dirt. Okay. So it is not allowing your brush to touch with your shaft, or some oil layer has come. Also, it is acting as an insulator. So it will not allow any charges to flow. Or maybe the wire is broken somewhere. So for current to flow, you need a complete circuit, right? If the circuit is open or the wire is broken, then it will not read any current, or your millivoltmeter itself is faulty, isn't it? So reasons could be number 3, brush not in contact. What do you have to do? Adjust spring tension. Second reason is number 3, brush between number 3 brush and shaft, oil, dust, or dirt has come and contact is not there. What do you have to do? Clean. If wire is broken, replace. If millivolt meter is faulty, then replace. Next is
सर
yes.
ये तो जब है तब हमारा प्रॉपरली वर्क कर रहा है वो शाफ्ट अर्थिंग, बट
Yes.
सपोज वो नंबर 1 और नंबर 2 ब्रश जो है वो इन कांटेक्ट में नहीं है, शाफ्ट
आ रहा
मतलब
हूँ
वो
आ रहा हूँ आ रहा हूँ
नहीं कर रहा था,
आ रहा हूँ उस
उस
पे यार,
उस केस में अम्पियर कितना करंट होगा?
आ रहा हूँ उसी केस पे आ रहा हूँ, डोंट वरी, 2 मिनट रुको.
ओके ओके
Now the millivolt meter is showing you high value. Second case. Now will come your number 2 and 3. Sorry, 1 and 2. Okay. Now, if these two are not in contact, number 1 and number 2 are not in contact, then what is going to happen? Then the charges will only flow from millivoltmeter, all the charges.
Yes, sir.
In that case, millivoltmeter reading will be shown higher, and your high current alarm will come. Is it clear? Or if some dust has come into the contacts, or oil film has come into the contacts, again it will act as an insulator. No charges will flow from this part. All the charges are going to flow from your millivoltmeter. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now another reason could be if your wire is broken, then again all the charges are going to flow from your millivoltmeter. Yes. And the one more reason could be millivoltmeter itself is faulty. So almost same reasons are there. Just but now it will shift from number 3 to number 1 and 2. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now these charges that are being developed, it depends upon 4 factors. Do I need to write or you will write it on? लिख लोगे? Millivoltmeter high
Yes,
value.
sir.
What reasons?